Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance, and the subject of this replay is a player called Jaeger, and he's in the GW Tiger P, the artillery based on the Porsche Tiger, and we're on the north spawn of Serene Coast. And Jaeger's starting off by heading to the spawn, the artillery positions in the bushes to the north of the spawn point. Now these are a favourite for most artillery players because there's there's some nice dips in here which do protect you from sight. Unfortunately, it's also very well used, so that does mean that you are subject to counter battery if the enemy discovers where you are. He's extended his aim and he's looking for targets. Now he's looking in the area next to the railway tracks. Oh, no, he's decided not to do that. He's changed his mind because there's a Sheridan in the dip and also a Lorraine 40T. Now they've gone unsighted. And he's switched his attention to a Tiger 1. Unfortunately, in an Arty safe position behind that rock. As you can see, there's a red line extending from the rock, which means that he wouldn't be able to hit it. But he's found an object 704 rather, on the west side of the map, and he can hit that. It's a slow moving TD, so he should be able to get it. Rounds out. It falls short, but it does stun the 704. So he is picking up some stun assistance. Still waiting for the reload to complete. Unfortunately, the target's gone unsighted, so Jaeger's decided to switch to a Gorilla 15, which is just below the rise of a hill. He can hit this target because the rise is not so big that it excludes firing at it, and the gorilla gets killed before he can do anything about it. Okay, there were two targets here, a T10 and another tank, but he's decided to pass those over because the enemy FV3805, the enemy artillery, has been spotted. No, he's gone back to the tanks that were moving along the peninsula, the T10, the T34 and the Sheridan. His rounds out, he sees a tree fall, and he has stunned these tanks. Don't think it was a direct hit, but he definitely stunned them. That will certainly help because there's an E75 on Jaeger's team at the pass on the peninsula. The other Arty on Jaeger's team are also firing at the same tanks. There's a nice group of them together, so obviously there's a good chance that they can pick up some stun assistance from their teammates' shots. He's lined up on this T10, just ahead of it, and he's actually more lined up on that Tiger 1. Now that round went in, that round definitely went in, so he did hit something, probably the Tiger 1. And he stunned the rest of them in the process. I would expect that Tiger 1 to be missing a decent chunk of its health next time we see it. Yes, it has. It's lost a lot of its health, and it has a decent stun still on it. So that Tiger certainly did feel the shock, or feel the hit. Okay, unfortunately, Jaeger's team are suffering, and they're losing numbers on the peninsula. That E75 is facing off against the Sheridan, who's around the back of him. So he's got tanks in front and tanks behind. He's trying to back into the Sheridan, but he's been taken out. Unfortunately, Zoe was able to get another. Jaeger was able to get another shot into the T10, and this Object 268 is in the same position the E75 is in. He's got a tank behind and a tank in front, and Jaeger's not reloaded yet. So can't give any assistance. And the 268's gone down. That's very unfortunate, but Jaeger is reloaded, ready to go. Rounds out. Direct hit, kills the Tiger II. Okay, the Sheridan's made it across the bridge. Particularly troublesome because, after all, it's a tier 10 scout. It's going to be very, very difficult to stop that scout from doing a lot of damage if he can get round the to where the Arty are located. Jaeger's almost reloaded. Nope. Decided to go after the 704 again. The other tanks weren't really sighted. And of course there is a request for help. The crosshairs above the tank indicates a request for help from the Conqueror. The round's out. But there's no indication it hit anything because the 704 was unsighted at the time. Okay, we've got an AT-15 and a Lurva. And the AT-15 has been hit by Jaeger's teammates, the Arty. He's almost reloaded. He's indicating his target with a T key. You put the reticule over the target, press the T, and it gives gigantic arrows above the target, tells everyone what you're after. Lets the reticule contract. Yes, the AT-15's been seen again, but by moving the reticule, the vehicle had to move, and that's enlarged the reticule again, so he needs to let the aim circle contract. He has. There's a little red line over the vehicle, which shows that the vehicle is in the way of the shell, but he's decided there's a more important target. That T-10 has reappeared very close. And also the Sheridan. Now the Sheridan is in an Arty-safe position. Can't get at that. Behind that rock, he's obstructed. But an SDRV-103B has turned up and is now hitting the Sheridan, pushing it inside. And he's turned his attention to the Wizzy-113, which is coming up the slope. Although he's lost sight of them now. There's no scout round that side of the rocks, so of course he doesn't know where they are. And you can't fire unless you know where the targets are. And he's received a hit from the enemy artillery. The enemy artillery's worked out where he is. And he needs to move. He needs to get out of that position as quickly as he can. Otherwise he will receive another hit. And there's another hit come in. This time from the FV-3805. They know where he is. They are firing at him. He needs to move. He's been tracked. His track's fixed. He can move now. But he's electing to stay. That could be very costly. He is more than likely going to get hit again. That T-10's gone down. But he should move because he will more than likely receive another Arty hit. He's staying still, which is... and he's received 2 Arty hits this time from the enemy. They both know where he is. He's repaired his tracks, but his crew are stunned, which means his vehicle's turning very slowly. He needs to get out of that position as quickly as he can, otherwise the next hit could kill him. He's also lost his driver, which is going to make life very difficult. He aims at this AT-15, fires, and the round goes out. It damages the AT-15 with splash, 49 hit points, and stuns it. But he needs to move. He cannot stay in that position any longer. This is very, very dangerous. Lucky for him, the enemy artillery seems to be focusing their attention on that Conqueror. As we can see, the Conqueror has been stunned, but the Conqueror is getting the better of that AT-15. Even though it's got very little health left, it looks like the enemy artillery don't want to fire at it. Jaeger shoots. And very badly damages the AT-15, which is finished off by the Conqueror. That was 412 hit points, and then he got the stun assist as well. And 2 other members of Jaeger's team are trying to drown an Object 704, which has come up from the water in one of the deepest parts. And he's taken out and killed by the Wizzy-132. Okay, so that just leaves the Lurva and the 3 Arty on the enemy team. And the Conqueror, the Wizzy 132, the Stritzfarm 103 and Jaeger on his team. Unfortunately, he hasn't got sight of any of the enemy vehicles now. They're just too far away. Now, as I mentioned before, he should have moved from his position by now because they know where he is. And by staying where he is liable to get counter-batteried. Okay, they can see the Su-14 too. Jaeger's lining up a shot. He fires. And it goes in. It definitely hits the Su-14 too. The school bus is injured. But it didn't kill it. Now that Lurther has got very little health left. And the FV-3805 has got very little health left. Maybe the reason why Jaeger hasn't received a hit from them is they're just too busy trying to defend themselves. He knows just about where that FV-3805 is, and the Stritzfarm 103B is approaching his position. So he should be able to spot him for Jaeger very, very shortly. And Jaeger's ready to fire. Now, the STRV is going around the north side. Nope, he's turned around and come back. I think he's worried about being shotgunned. Yes, the STRV is coming around the rock. He should spot it any second. There's the FV-3805. Jaeger lines up the shot. Rounds out. And it's a splash kill. A splash kill for 63 hit points. The round impacted some distance away from the FV-3805, but there was enough splash there to take it out. Okay, so that leaves just Jaeger and the STRV-103 against 2 enemy Artys. The school bus, the Su-14-2, and the other one's the M40-43, and unfortunately the Stritzfarm's gone down, it's been taken out. So that's very difficult, because that means now that that Jaeger's facing off against 2 Arty on his own with very little health. He's only got 62 hit points left on his vehicle. He has repaired or restored his driver, so he is able to move the vehicle. The question is, does he stay where he is when they know where he is, or does he move and relocate to another position? It's more than likely both the enemy Arty are headed north and coming to his cap. It very much looks as if Jaeger has elected to stay where he is and hope that the dips in that north position will protect him from sight of the enemy. And that's the 2-minute warning for the battle. Of course, the school bus and the M40 are fairly slow vehicles, so it's going to take them some time to get to the cap. Now, as you can see from the circles on the minimap, he's not likely to see them until they are fairly close to his Arty. But somebody is capping. Somebody is capping now, so he does know. There's the siren going off. So he knows that there is an Arty in the cap circle at this moment, and he can see the other Arty. Yes, he can see the other Arty approaching. It's now coming up in B6. It's the school bus. He fires, and he's a good kill. 114 hit points, and the school bus is out of the game. That means the M40-43 must be in the cap circle right now. And he's got to wait for the reload, because he can't go in there as he stands right now. The M40 is definitely reloaded. And he might be looking in Jaeger's direction. Pre-aimed and ready to fire. Ideally, Jaeger needs to back away and come around from a different angle to surprise the M40. He's reloaded. He's ready to go. He's being urged to kill by the STRV-103 in chat. He's trying to peek through the bush. He can see it. He can see the M40. And he lines up the shot. Auto aimed. Fires and kills the M40. 400 hit points and wins the battle. That was an exciting end. And he managed to get an ace tanker for the GW Tiger P, a bruiser, a duelist, a fighter medal, a defender medal for defending the cap from 70 or more hit points, cap points, and the counter battery because he killed all 3 of the enemy Arty, the school bus, the FB3805, and the M40. He managed to do 2,724 hit points of damage. He's got the highest number of kills alongside the Wizzy 132 of 4. And he scored the highest amount of experience points at 1,219. He fired 12 shots in total. 6 were direct hits and 6 penetrations. 10 were splash damage. And he did damage 2,724, of which 2,210 were at a distance greater than 300 meters. Obviously, the difference was the school bus and the M40, which were at closer than 300 meters. He received 4 hits, which is a lot, and he spotted 1 vehicle. He damaged 8 and killed 4. Damage due to his stun was 1,437. Stuns caused were 12. And he defended 78 cap points. He has a premium account, so he earned 51,182 credits. And after deductions for repair, ammunition and consumables, he takes away 14,906 credits. The XP earned was 1,829. And times 3 for the first victory of the day means he earned 5,487 experience points. So, good round. Well done, Jaeger. Nice to see another ace tanker. I would question that you stayed in the same position after you've been hit by the enemy Arty. That's not a wise choice. You should relocate immediately you've been found and hit, because they will try to strike you again. It's amazing actually that the other enemy Arty did not take you out. It shows that they weren't really paying attention to the battle. But good job. Well done. If you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like. Do subscribe to our channel because we get great battles like this all the time. And I will hopefully see you in the next replay. Thank you.